Roseville Auto Mall, CBS 13 Sports Sunday.
We are live from the CBS studio in Sacramento. 30 minutes of sports queued up and ready to go. Welcome to Sports Sunday. I am Charlie Walter. Kings broadcaster Kyle Draper will join us in just a bit to recap the 2021 NBA Draft. We have 5 burning questions to ask Davion Barling, and 49ers and Raiders camp underway. We're loaded with good content, but we begin at Oracle Park, where the Giants welcomed All-Star Chris Bryant to the team. It's always a plus adding a former MVP to the mix, but even better, throughout his career, Bryant has been outstanding at Dodger Stadium, Petco Park, and Oracle Park. You'll take it. How about the second at bat in a Giants uniform? They dished away the 9th and 30th prospects, and in return, they received that. A man that can hit it a long way. Solo shot, 19th of the season. Giants still down 2-1. Darren Ruff is 34 years old, having the best season of his career. Pokes it into right field. Buster Posey comes around on his horse to score. Giants up 3-2, more from Ruff. 5th inning, knee-high fastball, warning track wall, touch 'em all. Big day for Darren Ruff. The Giants win another series 5-3. Oakland would be the second wild card team if the season ended today, but they want to win the division, so they put all their chips into the pot for a 2021 postseason run. They landed 3 big pieces at the deadline: Starling Marte, Yan Gomes, and Josh Harrison. All 3 in the starting lineup today for the series finale with the Angels. Starling Marte on base 4 times. You saw him swipe a bag. Then singles in the 3rd inning. That sets up Matt Olson. This is Major Tangerine. Are we clear for takeoff? Clear for takeoff. Yes, that is a big fly from Matt Olson with 2 aboard. We're tied at 3. 3-run shot. The newcomers had themselves a day. Still in the 3rd inning, Yan Gomes, welcome to Oakland. This one in LA, and it's pulverized. 10th of the season. These guys were huge today, and they're going to be big acquisitions for the remainder of the season. 3 guys that can get on base. That's Josh Harrison adding in a hit in the 9th inning. The Athletics back within 4.5 games of the Stros. They cruised today 8-3. We were inches away from a thrilling walk-off at Sutter Health Park. Will Toffee, the deep drive, a homer would have won it. Instead, just off the wall. A run does score. So we'll take another look at it. I mean, he missed by about 2 inches. Does tie it up, so we go to extras, and in the 12th inning, with 2 outs, the Aces get the base hit. That's the deciding run. 8-7 is your final. All right, from the diamond to the NBA Draft, where on Thursday the Kings had the 9th overall pick and went with a selection that is being well received.
The Sacramento Kings select Davion Mitchell from Baylor University.
Wow. I love, everything that Davion brings, that he stands for, the mentality that he's going to go in and shut down the other team's best player, which he did all through his college career. Just an incredible asset to add into the team we're building here, and I think speaks to what Davion's about.
All right, joining us now for more on the Sacramento Kings and their new draftees is Kings play-by-play announcer, and you can catch him on the pre- and post-game show, the ubiquitous Kyle Draper. And Kyle, thanks for coming on the show. Let's start with that number 9 pick, Davion Mitchell. To you, was he the guy that they had penciled in for weeks heading up to the draft, or do you think it was one of those situations where they kind of waited out, they saw that he was there at number 9, and then last minute they said, that's our guy?
I don't know if he was the actual guy, Charlie, but here's what I can tell you. He's the type of player they were targeting. When you look at the Sacramento Kings last year, for most of the season, they were dead last in defense. They needed gamers, guys that could come in and make an immediate impact on the floor. This dude plays both ends of the floor. He's a hard-nosed player. He's going to make you work for everything you have. And so I don't know if he was necessarily the guy that they had targeted, but he was the type of player. And we see it, with all their draft picks. They wanted hard-nosed defensive guys.
I've heard some Kyle Lowry comparisons. Obviously, Kings fans would be very happy if he went in the upward trajectory like Lowry went throughout his career. What's your grade for this Mitchell pick?
I'm going to give it an A. I'm not going to give it an A+ because I want to see what he does. But, everybody talks about his three-point shooting. If you look at his numbers from last year, at Baylor. His three-point numbers were off the charts as well. And so, to me, I compare him to a smaller Marcus Smart. A guy that's going to get into you defensively, a guy that's going to make you work hard defensively, a guy that doesn't necessarily need the ball to impact the game. And so I love this pick. And everybody's talking about, well, they got a whole lot of guards. Well, we don't have DeLon Wright anymore. And you bring in the guy that can take the best opposing ball handler, move Fox off the ball in terms of defending it, and, free Fox up offensively. And so I love this pick, man. And, Monte McNair hit a home run last year with Tyrese Halliburton, and I think fans will really like this kid this year.
Hey, bring in the high-character kids, as many as we can get, and let's see what happens. How about the 39th overall pick for the Sacramento Kings? They go with the big man Keita from Utah State. What does he bring to the table?
Well, he's a rim protector, right? And that's what they needed. Rashawn Holmes does a tremendous job, obviously, blocking shots. But this guy, he alters shots. He doesn't always have to block them, but he alters them. He's the two-time Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year. And it goes back to what I was saying when it came to Mitchell. Keita also is a defensive-minded player. I think too many times we saw with the Kings last season, teams were able to come into Golden One and do whatever they wanted. They were able to run whatever offense they wanted. They were able to get every shot they wanted. Now you got to think once or twice, if you're a perimeter player, you're going to have to work hard to bring the ball up. And if you get into that paint, you got Keita waiting for you there to block your shot. And so, it's a second-round pick, but I think, by the end of the season, we'll see this guy out on the floor, and he'll be a contributor for this team.
Hours after the Kings add Tristan Thompson to the mix in a three-way trade with the Celtics, is he a solution to play big-time minutes, or do you think this is a reserve move?
I think it's a reserve move. Obviously, we got to wait and see what happens with Rashawn Holmes, right? If Rashawn Holmes comes back, then you got Tristan Thompson coming off the bench. But I think if Tristan does stay with the Sacramento Kings and does give them some minutes, one thing that he can do, he's a beast on the offensive glass. I watched him when he played with the Celtics this past season. I was able to catch a lot of their games on TV. And this dude is a rebounding machine. He doesn't call for the ball. You don't have to run plays for him. He'll get you 8 to 10 points just from second chance opportunities alone. And so it didn't quite work out there in Boston for him, only one season. But I think, you needed big man depth. I think if you're the Sacramento Kings right now, you just need bodies. You need players that can come in and play for you. And I think Tristan Thompson can do that.
And how about a guy, too, that's got championship experience? You want to get back to the promised land. It's been quite some time. He's a guy that can help in that sense. Last question for you. Obviously, the news of Davion Mitchell coming to the team, I don't think it's great for Buddy Hield. So who's more likely to be on this team, Marvin Bagley or Buddy Hield, when the season begins?
Ooh, that's a great question. If you are making me to choose a player, I'm going to say Marvin Bagley. I just think, there's still, his script is still to be written. His story is still to be written. I mean, you're talking about the number 2 overall pick, and I know a lot of Sacramento fans are down on him, but when he plays and when he's healthy, we've seen flashes from this kid. And so I just think, man, I would hate to give up on him. Then he goes and flourishes somewhere else. And so I think Marvin Bagley will be here. Buddy Hield's situation is interesting, right? I mean, because shooting is at a premium. And so if you get rid of a guy like Buddy Hield, you lose some of your outside shooting, right? And I think you still need him. So if you were asking me at this moment, I think they both stay. But if I had to choose one of the two that would actually still be here, I think it's Marvin Bagley.
All right, that's Kings play-by-play voice, Kyle Draper. Kyle, thanks for joining the show today.
All right, Charlie, take care, man.
We have the master of many takes after the break. Davion Barling joins us to talk 5 burning questions. Is the SEC Super Conference good for the sport? His answer's on the other side. Plus, after a season of brutal quarterback play, the 49ers now have options. The update on Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo are coming up later on the show. Sports Sunday. We'll be right back.
The Roseville Auto Mall CBS 13 Sports Sunday.
Welcome back into Sports Sunday. Joining me now is a familiar face to the show, ESPN 1320's Davion Barling. Davion, thank you for being here. How about 5 burning topics from the week that was? Starting with the Sacramento Kings, we just had Kyle Draper on the show. He gave the pick an A, the Davion Mitchell pick. Thoughts?
Love it. Yeah, absolutely love it. He seems to fit with the Monte McNair type of guy. He's a hustler. He's a worker. Like, I think one thing that I loved, and I'm sure most fans loved, is his first press conference. He's talking about holding people accountable. He's talking about holding teammates accountable. He's walking into an organization that hasn't made the playoffs in 15 years and has no real established core outside of De'Aaron Fox and probably Tyrese Halliburton. Everything else after that is kind of up in the air. And he walks in and says, yeah, I'm willing to hold people accountable. And we saw that. We saw that in the tournament. We saw that in his time with Baylor. And when we talked to people who covered Baylor since the pick was made, they just raved about this young man.
I guess the biggest question for me, is he going to be a shooter? Because if he's a guy that can replicate what he did his junior season at Baylor, where he shot at 45% from deep, I mean, that is an absolute weapon to add to the mix with the defense, rebounding, and toughness that he brings to the table. All right, let's move on. Talk a little SEC football. Texas and Oklahoma are joining. We have a super conference all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The Big 12 is in big time trouble. Relocation everywhere, you assume, would follow. Are you a fan of this move?
Yeah, I mean, a fan of it. I'm fine with it because I felt like this was the road we were headed down. We were headed down the road of like super conferences, and that's essentially what this is. And I think you alluded to it right there. This isn't the last time we're going to see this. No. This is the biggest move we're going to see. There aren't very many bigger moves than Texas and Oklahoma, but we're going to see more. And yeah, I think we're headed down the road of those super conferences that you spoke of. And I mean, quite honestly, we could be headed down the road of the end of the NCAA. Like, the SEC doesn't need the NCAA. These super conferences aren't going to need the NCAA. Like, college sports is going to look a lot different 10 years from now.
Yeah, and it's upsetting to me because I'm a traditionalist. I love the old Big East in basketball, the old ACC rivalries that make sense. You know, I don't love Syracuse playing Duke as much as I love them playing, UConn and Georgetown, because it affects every sport, not just football. Yeah. But obviously the guys on the gridiron, really the ones that steer the change. All right, let's switch it over to some baseball. Who had the better deadline? The Giants, who land a former MVP and a current All-Star, or the A's, who just add depth all around, solid depth to their lineup?
A's did really, really well. But when you land Chris Bryant in the face of what the Dodgers were doing, and really, not only did you land Chris Bryant, you kept Chris Bryant off the Dodgers, you kept Chris Bryant off the Padres, and you got that big bat that I think they had been looking for through this, that they had been kind of lacking through a lot of this season. I know they added some help to the bullpen as well. Again, both teams did really, really well. I think both fan bases should be very, very happy with their at. But with Chris Bryant and the San Francisco Giants and everything that the Dodgers did, I'm riding with the Giants.
Yeah, I can't really pick a winner there. I think they both did what they needed to do. The A's, though, they had 3 of their top 4 hitters now. Matt Olson, the only guy that had a better batting average than the 3 guys coming in. So, yeah, solid depth throughout the lineup now for the A's. They needed that big time. And then Chris Bryant, the ubiquitous Chris Bryant, could play all over the place. He's going to help that team a lot. Transitioning to the ice, San Jose Sharkstar Evander Kane is denying allegations that he was shaving points and betting on hockey games. His wife actually called him out, said he was doing this. Look, this is a massive allegation if true. How devastating would it be?
If it was true, it'd be massive. Like, it would be just awful for a sport that already struggles in most parts of the country, or I shouldn't say most parts, in some parts of the country. I think it struggles here in California, and it's a shark. This is technically one of our guys. Like, we can't have that. If it's true, and you've got to let this process play out, Charlie, because this is a serious allegation. But if it's true, man, the NHL is going to have a really, really hard time recovering from this one.
Yeah, and it's something
bad.
It's something you haven't heard about in a while. I remember back in, I think, the 90s, the Arizona State players that with all the duffel bags of cash at Vegas. I mean, it's been a long time since we've heard of an allegation like this. So if it's true, you're absolutely right, would be devastating.
It hits different when it's in the pros, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then number 5 of the 5 on it topics. What's your favorite Olympic sport and why?
I enjoy gymnastics. I don't know why. Okay. I always have. Like, I find what they do just insane. They're like massive feats of strength. Like, I've loved watching gymnastics this past week. It was sad not to see Simone Biles out there. Of course, I completely understand why. But gymnasts perform at this level is incredible. But Charlie, it's track season, baby. Yeah. It's track season. I'm glued to NBC and their 27 affiliates for the remainder of the Olympics.
I got my 1A and 1B. I love men's volleyball. I mean, these guys are getting up. They are absolutely pounding those balls. It's just a lot of fun to watch. But I think swimming, just because I've gone out there, I've swam some 50 meters. I know how hard it is. And when you're watching these guys and girls go 400, it's just incredible. Incredible.
If I can get from one end of the pool to the other, I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, and then you see how fast these guys and girls are going at just full speed. It is truly remarkable. All right, that's Davion Barling. The man is magic on TV and on the radio. Thanks for hanging, my man.
Thanks, Charlie.
Moving to the pitch now. Sacramento Republic went to work with the New York Red Bulls 2 on Saturday. Sac gets the scoring going. Corner kick from Darius Formella, headed in by Luis Felipe. And then this is a little pinball right here. Whoa, how about that? The goal there for the Republic. That's the kind of offense that I think Mark Briggs likes to see. They did not wait long to score that one. Well-coordinated pinball there. Felipe finished it off, his second goal tonight. Each team would score one more. Final score 3-1. Republic gets the win. 2 wins and a draw in their last 3. Finding their footing is Sac FC. Next up for the Republic, a home matchup against the Tacoma Defiance. Vaccinations have become a talking point this NFL offseason. Has Kyle Shanahan encouraged his guys to get the shot? His answer is coming up after the break.
The Roseville Auto.
Good to have you back with us tonight. Football season is right around the corner for the San Francisco 49ers, and I'd say more so than any other team, they are just ready to get back to work. Remember last season, injuries ruined what was a pretty promising start. Poor quarterback play sunk the team to the bottom of the NFC West. That shouldn't be an issue this year. The question is going to be, by mid-season, who is this team's starting quarterback? The plan is probably to begin with Jimmy, but the better quarterback is going to win the job, and reports are that Lance has looked on the same level as Garoppolo thus far. Regardless, Trey, he's learning a lot from Jimmy at camp.
Jimmy played in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, so he does a lot of things at a really high level. So it's been awesome for me. You know, like I said, I don't know if there's anyone better out there that I could learn from right now.
I think the best thing that a starting quarterback can do for a rookie isn't just sit there and be in his ear all day. It's just to do things the right way, and they got to watch you. And that's what I've been real impressed with Jimmy, because how prepared he came into OTAs, how prepared he came into training camp.
A big talking point this offseason has been placed on players getting vaccinated. Stars Nick Bosa and Brandon Ayuk, 2 of the players who still haven't made up their mind one way or the other. So just how does Kyle Shanahan balance a concern for his guys to get the vaccine while not pressuring them and nagging them too much?
I mean, we haven't pressured anyone. You know, I think it would have been a lot harder if we had a big group of guys not doing it. You know, I think that was more of our worry. And then, about a week up to camp, we got past at 85%. I know, I think it's 5 or less. I think it's 5. But I mean, those 5 we're not going to pressure. It would have been tough if a Lauder team didn't, and we had to do things different.
Over in Las Vegas, the Raiders are practicing at 7 a.m. because it's about 99 degrees by lunchtime. 2 aspects of the Raiders game Coach Gruden says they need to get better with. One is running the ball in the red zone. Gruden flat out said they were horrible in that department last season. The other is the secondary. Las Vegas finished near the bottom of the league last year in pass defense.
And we've taken enough DBs in the early rounds over the years. Hell, these guys got to step up. We didn't bring them in here to, sell Raider gear. We got to get some playmaking out of these guys.
The soundbite king. Well, don't turn away just yet. A local athlete putting Northern California on the map, how he made CrossFit history. That's next.
The Roseville Auto Mall CBS 13 Sports Sunday will be right back.
A 22-year-old from Lodi was named the fittest man on earth. That's Justin Medeiros. He scored 1,234 points to take home his first title today at the No Bull CrossFit Games. He also made history as the youngest man to top the CrossFit Games podium. That is tough work right there. And from the fittest man on earth to the strongest 13-year-old in the nation, Seth Evans from Oakland earned 4 gold medals at the weightlifting youth nationals Seth says he hopes to compete in the Summer Olympics one day. All right, same time, same place next week for Sports Sunday. Sarah Hodges will have the magic. For now, I'm Charlie Walter. Have a wonderful rest of your night, everyone.